First up, a happily ever after tale. Waite and his wife Rebecca talk openly about paraplegia and parenthood.
And what it took to become a family of 3.
Hey, I'm Jai.
And I'm Rebecca. And we've been married for 3 years.
We're also about to be parents for the very first time.
We don't know if it's going to be a boy
Or a girl. It doesn't really matter, just as long as it's healthy. You see, 10 years ago, I broke my neck, and now I'm in a wheelchair with limited body function. So you're probably wondering, how on earth did I get my wife pregnant?
We weren't sure how it was all going to work, so we just went ahead and gave it a bash, and here we are. Yeah.
Well, that's one way of putting it. 2 years ago, Jai and Beck started trying for a baby. Because of Jai's spinal cord injury, they had no idea if it was even possible. Would they be able to conceive without help? Was Jai's sperm any good? I get asked a lot, as I'm sure Jai does, whether a guy with a spinal cord injury can even have sex, let alone slip one past the goalie. So it's time to put the hard questions to Jai. Going in.
After my injury, a lot of things were affected, as well as outside physical things you can see. A lot of internal functions never going to be the same again, and never actually asked the question when I was after my injury. Am I still going to be able to have kids, or am I still going to be able to ejaculate?
Most patients who have spinal injuries have 2 hurdles that they have to come across if they want to have a family. The first one is to be able to ejaculate, and most people unfortunately can't ejaculate naturally. And the second problem that they face is if they want to have a family, that the quality of the sperm is normally affected by the spinal injury, and it's normally low. And having a good sperm count or quality of sperm is very important for being able to have a family.
The odds were stacked against them. Finding a way to become parents would require some 21st century science.
IVF was one, and then Dr. Taki mentioned the Verticare vibrator, and we were kind of like, oh, how does that work? And he said it was a more natural way than having IVF with all the drugs and tests that you have to have.
Yeah, we just sort of did our own research on the internet, and he kind of suggested that, to search online, and we found a supplier in the US, and emailed him, and within
about 2 weeks, wasn't it?
2 weeks it arrived, and no instructions.
I just have a little manual.
Had a little manual
with
and
a little diagram.
A little diagram, and we didn't know what we're doing. We just went ahead and tried.
The first option is to try something simple. Of people who can't ejaculate is to try something like a Verticare vibrator, which stimulates the reflex ejaculation pathways in the body, and some people can ejaculate with that, and if they can, it's very simple.
IVF would have cost about $10,000. The supercharged vibrator, designed to kickstart Jai's system, cost $1,500.
It's pretty high-powered stuff. It's charged off the mains. It's not like battery-powered or anything. It's pretty scary stuff. Well, this is the pad that's supposed to come in contact with my man bits. The diagram doesn't actually show you where it's supposed to go, so there's a bit of experimentation. I don't have fine finger motion. I can't move my fingers or my thumbs, and so to push it, I had to really kind of push my thumb in on it, and like that. Serious noise. And you hear that noise and you think, I'm not putting that thing anywhere near me.
It's not very romantic either.
No.
The use of the Verticare technology certainly gave his body a jolt, but it produced blood, not semen.
Next day I rung the urologist and asked him, look, I spent half the night in A&E last night bleeding, and he goes, how long since the last time you ejaculated? And I said, 8 years, and he goes, yeah, that's going to happen. But yeah, Dr. Taki was just like, yeah, just give it another go and see what happens. He said it'll settle down, and sure enough, the next time I tried, it was awesome. Things worked really well, and we were fairly confident.
My part in it, when he was using this, I'd have to catch it in a little cup, sterilised cup, and we'd use a syringe, a sterilised syringe, and yeah, it was quite funny. I was talking to my hairdresser about it, and she said, oh, it's like turkey basting. So I was like, oh yeah, that's a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
The odds against achieving pregnancy were huge, yet it took just 3 attempts before the magical positive result showed on the pregnancy test.
You done the test, you picked it up, and you kind of looked at it, and you were kind of like, I seen your face, and you were like, that looks like a plus. You came back into the bedroom, and you were all quiet. And then I went to go to the toilet, and I kind of like, just went to go and wash my hands and looked down, and of course, here's the P test on the thing, and I seen the plus. I was like, it's very faint, and you're like, yeah, it's very faint, and then I still think this is a plus. Yeah. This is a plus, and it's a plus, this is a plus. And then like, you started crying, and like, yeah, there was hugs.
"40 weeks later, after a textbook pregnancy, this baby is ready to be born. The baby's breech, so Bex is having a cesarean.
Baby's coming now.
Oh, that's a girl.
Congratulations.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've got a dry towel.
Emily Rose Waite weighed in at 3.2 kilograms.